Hey there, Sorry here. As you can see, I have claimed my rank 1 for the current World Visions event, the Final Fantasy XIII event, going up against Anima. So, for those of you that have seen my previous videos, you know that I have the new Lightning unit. And you know from my polls that I got enough to get her EX1 and pretty close to EX2. Well, I decided to throw some tickets at the banner because I had quite a few tickets saved up. So I threw about 40 tickets at the banner and got another Wondrous Flash Lightning, which allowed me to get her to EX2. So yeah, I'm ready to get in there and claim my rank 1, and that's what I did. So here you can see the scores. And here's the team that I used to claim my rank 1. I had an initial team in mind, kind of set up and ready for when it dropped over the weekend, and went in there with my initial team, and it just wasn't quite cutting it. It was only doing like around 20 billion damage. So today took a little time to actually sit down and work out a new team, and this is the team that got it done for me. So the biggest thing about this boss is that it dispels itself basically every turn except every third turn, meaning every fourth turn you have an opening to do some damage. So basically you have to do your burst on turn 4. There's just like no getting away from it. And so that's what we're going to do. It's a 4-turn rotation. It's otherwise very, very simple. This boss is practically toothless. You know, I've seen a lot of clears out there where people are using like the Avatar's upgraded chainmail, and that basically nullifies the majority of the attacks that this boss does. So if you have that, great. I mean, this boss should be pretty easy. You can basically forego a tank and then just stick an extra damage dealer in there. But I am not going to be using that. I have enough Xeno shards to get the upgrade, but I just don't want to. And so I would rather try to do it without it, because I'm sure there are more people out there that don't have the Avatar's vest. So we're not going to be using that. So we do need a tank. So we're bringing Ash, because Ash is fantastic for this fight. She's got the killers, she's got buffs, she can tank it. She's great. So we're bringing Ash along for this one. Mine is only EX2. Yours can be EX1. That's fine. She needs to be at least EX1 in order to get the machine killer buff that she gives to Lightning. So she's going to be getting Lightning, the 250% machine killer buff. But you have to have her EX1 to get that, because I believe it's only in her Brave Shift form where you get that buff. You can see my Lightning is EX2, okay? I don't think an EX1 Lightning is going to do it for you, because you need that 150% amp to really get the damage out of her to hit the damage cap. So, yeah, hopefully you can get yourself an EX2 Lightning before the event is out. Cloud Strife is in there. Mine is EX3, obviously. If you have the original Cloud, he can also be serviceable. He could be a decent replacement for Cloud Strife. He's in my previous team, I actually had both Clouds on the party, and I was using both of them as a finisher. And the original Cloud with his crown upgrades, he was actually keeping up pretty well with Cloud Strife. He was about maybe 500 million, maybe somewhere between 500 million and 1 billion behind Cloud. But I think, if you geared them properly, and, because you can only give Buster Sword to one of them, so, obviously the original Cloud was a bit shortchanged there. I think if you had the original Cloud with all of his crown upgrades and everything, you do have to give him, 2 forms of Chain Cat boost and a preemptive LB boost of some form, either Titus's STMR or Blades of Black Flame Reagan's STMR. If you give him all that stuff, he can actually do a pretty good finisher for you as well. So that's a good sub. You see I've got Hawkeye in there. Hawkeye is there because I needed a good defense and spirit break, and Hawkeye brings a 90% defense and 88% spirit break. I know he's limited. Not everyone's going to have him. If you don't have him, I think Angeal is your best replacement. And Angeal might actually be overall better because he brings a higher imperil along with an 89% defense and spirit break. I just don't have Angeal. So if I had Angeal, I would probably put him in there. But since I don't, Hawkeye is my best replacement for missing Angeal. You can see we've got Nora there. Nora's bringing the Imperil Field as well as some decent damage. And then we've got Dagger. Dagger is literally there just to sing Zidane's STMR for the first 3 turns, and then to summon Rameau for the amp field, because this boss does fields on both sides, and so you have to get rid of both fields in order to do your best damage. So let's go ahead and just get into the fight. Let's see how we get it done. Make sure we hit the damage cap, and then I will show you the gear at the end. Let's get to it. All right, so the first couple of turns are pretty simple and pretty boring. Nothing too fancy going on there. We've got Dagger singing. I wanted to go with you. I had to give her Call of the Wild since mine is only EX1. She needs enough LB in order to actually cast it, so just give her Call of the Wild. She'll have enough LB to cast I wanted to go with you on turn 1. Nora on this turn honestly doesn't need to really do much. I'm just going to go ahead and do Conqueror of Machines for the Machine Killer for herself. Also buffs the party too, but it's more for herself. A 250% killer buff to herself. Hawkeye honestly doesn't need to do anything for the first 2 turns. We're just going to wait for turn 3 to do his breaks. All right, Lightning is going to... She'll do The Whole World is Against Us, because this does the mod boost to her LB. And there we go. Yep. So, and that lasts for 5 turns, so it's no problem going ahead and doing that one. We'll do Rusty Engine for the mitigations, and Spark Strike for the 85% break. All right. Ash is actually going to shift. You want to start her in normal form so that she does the preemptive magic cover. And then we're going to shift her to her Brave Shift form. Well, we'll do Mist Decoy on herself, Shelga, and Protectga. Cloud on this turn is going to do 10,000 Needles for the Mirage, because the boss will do 1 AoE physical, so we need to Mirage that. Alright, so Ash tanks all the magic damage, resists all the elemental stuff, and she's good to go. All right, Lightning on this turn just needs to do another Spark Strike to re-up the breaks. Hawkeye can guard again. Nora is going to do Thundaga on this turn just to imbue. That's for Hawkeye really, so that he's imbued with lightning. Ash here, I'm going to have her do her LB. You don't have to. And honestly, because we have Dagger singing, you don't really need to do this. But it does, if it'll show me. Come on, show me the LB. There it is. All right, it does do a 350% attack and mag buff. All right, which is better than the 300% on the Zidane STMR. All right, so there is that. What she's going to do on this turn, and I'm going to do her LB. We'll do the Machine Killer buff next turn. All right. And her LB also comes with a 150% Machine Killer to the party. All right, Cloud is going to, on this turn, we'll just do 10,000 Needles again, and then he'll do all his buff skills next turn. All right, and I think that's all we need to do on this turn. Yep, okay. Alright, boss will just do some more magic attacks. Alright, boss didn't do any physicals on that turn, that's fine. Okay, so You saw that the boss has dispelled himself every turn thus far. All right, so yep, you can't keep any of that stuff. This is all just preemptive stuff that can't be dispelled. That large sword and peril is important for Cloud, so I did use the leave things to me vision card to get that undispellable large sword and peril. If you don't have that, then you can either give Cloud a sword to take advantage of Lightning's sword and peril, or you can, again, you can bring, you could bring the original Cloud with his crowns, because his LB, his normal form LB, does a 40% Great Sword and Peril when you activate it before the damage. You could also bring, if you have Zac, you know, if you pulled on Lightning's banner and you pulled a bunch of Zacs, you could bring Zac and put Zac in Cloud's place. So Zac is actually a very suitable replacement for Cloud on this party, because he also does, he need be EX2 at least to get his SLB on turn 4, but that's an option. All right, so on this turn, all right, we're going to do Elemental Burst Lightning, Elemental Lightning for the mod boost, and nothing personal for the mod boost. All right, Nora is going to do Magic Entrapment for the Imperil field, Esoteric Lightning for the Lightning Imperil, and then Tormenta Torment for the 150 amp. Okay. Hawkeye, all he has to do is true a weapon smack. All right, Lightning, all she has to do, we'll just do Spark Strike, Elemental Burst, and How I Live is up to me for the gun and sword imperil. All right, Ash is going to do Machine Achilles to Lightning. Okay, so there you go. You see we've taken little to no damage in this fight, so the damage taken score is, you know, is very easy to hit. All right, so first things first, we're going to shift Lightning. Make sure you do her Brave shifted LB, not her normal form. All right, Hawkeye, all he's going to do is triple Bolting Strike with his True Needle Shower. Nora does her Historia Fistoria. And then Ash is going to come back to normal form, where she is going to triple Thundara. Cloud does his LB. All right, Dagger is going to summon Ramuh. So now we've replaced both fields. Okay, so we should be good to go. Let's check all of our imperils. Yep, 170 imperil, 90% defense break. All right, 40% sword imperil. Looking good. All right, everyone's looking good. So I gave Hawkeye a sword. I gave Nora a sword and a gun. All right, because they're just my highest mag one-handed weapons, as I have a sword and a gun. And that was enough to get the job done. Yep, Ash has a sword as well. Cloud has the great sword. So it's only a 25% imperil. Again, if you don't have that vision card, then yeah, your options are give Cloud a two-handed sword. Like, for example, if you have another copy of Lightning's STMR, you could give him that. Or you bring the original Cloud remake and use his normal form LB, which does the Great Sword Imperil with the damage. Or you bring Zac and use his SLB, which does the Great Sword Imperil with the damage. So those are your options there if you don't have Cloud Strife, or if you don't have the Leave Things to Me vision card for the Great Sword Imperil. All right, so the way this is going to work, Cloud Strife, he's a one-hit finisher, takes a while to wind up. So I send him first, I wait a couple seconds, and then I'm going to send Hawkeye, Lightning, Nora, and Ash in that order in quick succession. The idea is you want to sort of sandwich Nora and Lightning in between Hawkeye and Ash to make sure all of their hits are going into the chain. All right, so let's see how we do this. All right, it should be 108 hits. I think that's right. And hopefully we hit a damage cap. All right, we came up short. That's all right. We just rolled low. But this team did get me my rank 1. I hit 25.3 on my perfect score run. All right. So as you can see, this team, might take a little bit of rolling. Let's see who rolled low. Yeah, Cloud rolled low. So he normally rolls over 7. He rolled real low. Yeah. 13.6 is pretty typical for Lightning. I think she can go as high as 15 on this one. And Nora did pretty well. She's usually somewhere between 3 and 4. So that's pretty typical for Nora. So it looks like Cloud rolled low on that one. If he had rolled closer to average, we would have definitely hit the damage cap. Damage cap is 24.5 billion, so just keep that in mind. Cloud just decided to roll low on me on that one. No big deal. But yeah, that's how I got this one done. You see all the other scores are perfect, just rolled low on the damage score. No big D. All right, so let's take a quick look at the gear. All right, you may also see places where I could have improved gear and whatnot. All right, I leave that up to you. So Lightning in her normal form doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, her gear is kind of irrelevant in this form. It's whatever. In her Brave Shift form is where you want to make sure you have her, basically she is carrying the majority of the load, as you can see. So you want to give her all your best gear. Obviously her STMR, all my best Clash gear is going on her. Zach's glove is like, the highest attack accessory that I have. Obviously I pulled a lot of Zach's on my way to getting my Pity Lightning, right? She does need Magister's Ring for Chain Cap boost. In her accessory, she doesn't need much because she hits Machine Killers super easy. She does need some LB damage to make sure you cap that. She needs some she needs some TDH to cap that. And then I just gave her Esper stats there. I did give her this card. So this is the card you get for an EX3 Elena, the new Elena that came out for the anniversary. If you get her to EX3, she gets this vision card. And so I gave this to my Lightning, obviously, because it just has a high attack stat. All of these passives and everything are also, they're not locked to any kind of unit or anything. So it does give her some TDH, which is nice. It's like a 50% chain boost. That's whatever. That's ignorable. But she does get all of the passives, which is kind of nice. So she's got 300 machine, full on TDH, full on LB damage, and that's how we got it done with our Lightning. All right. Ash is, you probably could have geared her for a little bit more magic, but as you can see, she wasn't really dealing a whole lot of damage. If you want to gear her for damage in this form, it's fine, but she's just using Thundara, so it's got like a super low modifier anyways, so honestly, don't worry about it. In her Brave Shift form, you just want to make sure she's got over 150% resistance to fire, ice, lightning, and dark. All right, so those are the 4 elements you got to hit: fire, ice, lightning, and dark, and make sure she's got at least 150% resistance to those 4 elements, because the boss will do a 50% Omni Imperil. All right, but yeah, and this is the gear that I used to get there. Sylvie's card's nice because it does 30% across the board and does 50% to lightning, which is nice. And yeah, so that's all you really need there. Okay. Cloud in his normal form is whatever. Just give him 10,000 needles. I did put a Bahamut synergy on there to make sure we have enough Esper gauge to summon Rama at the end. And then yeah, in his Brave Shift form, all the best gear you can throw on him. A couple of Tifa STMRs because they are stackable, and each one of those gives him 500 static attack. Buster Sword, once it's upgraded, obviously gives him 1,000 flat attack, so it's a great equip for him. Indestructible Light for chain cap boost, and then just filling out his attack and Esper stats. So he is good on everything, I believe. Yep, 300 machine. 400, yeah, more than enough LB damage, right? And he has his own vision card, obviously, because he's EX3. If you don't have an EX3 Cloud, just put the best vision card you have in that slot. All right. And, yep, that's all we need on him. Hawkeye, you can ignore his normal form. In his Brave Shift form, I tried to gear him for, high attack, but clearly it's just a waste of time. So it's not really needed or necessary there. All right. Yeah. So the only thing that's really important for him is the Leave Things to Me vision card, which does the preemptive Greatsword Imperil, which cannot be dispelled, right? Since it is preemptive, it cannot be dispelled. So that is why that is there. So Nora, so since she doesn't have time in the rotation to do her Fist Imperil, you can't really use her STMR or fists on this one unless you bring a unit that can do a Fist Imperil on turn 3. She's just too busy doing other things on turn 3. She can't do her LB in the mix of all of that to do the Fist Imperil. So I gave her Fryevia's TMR and Olive's TMR so that she could equip swords and guns. You don't have to do that. If you have 2 high mag guns, you can just do Gunner on Vacation, or if you have 2 high mag swords, just do Fryevia's TMR. You don't have to do one of each, but it does need to be either sword or gun for the 40% weapon imperil. And then just high mag gear. And make sure she's capped on her killers, which she is, 300 machine. And that's all she really needs. She doesn't need LB damage because we're not using her LB. And so I gave her my Rain's my Flaring Ether Rain vision card just because it's the highest mag card that I have, and she doesn't really need any of the passives on that. Could probably give her another card. The thing about Nora is that since she does the mag store, you want to increase her base mag as much as possible so that mag store gets the greatest effect. So that's why I used this card on her, just to give her that higher base mag with the 170 mag on this card. All right, you'll notice mine's obviously EX1. An EX2 Nora would probably do an extra billion damage on the burst turn, making it even easier to hit that damage cap, probably less re-rolling. So keep that in mind. That might be something that makes it a lot easier for you. My Nora won't hit EX2 until probably next week. She's in the Shard Dungeon. She's still 10 shards away from EX2. So probably won't see EX2 Nora until next week. But she would almost certainly help you hit that damage cap even easier. All right. Last but not least, we've got Dagger. Honestly, she can be EX0, does not have to be EX1. And all she needs is Call of the Wild, and I wanted to go with you to do the buff from Zidane's STMR. And then just make sure you have somebody equipped with Rama in the party so that she can summon. She can summon any Esper on the field. Just make sure Rama is in there. And she does do the, it's not this one, Unleashed Evocation, so that she can do the 50% amp field for the party. All right. And that'll do it. All right. So, if you have this exact team with the exact gear, it just might take a couple of rolls to get you there to make sure that, Cloud, make sure Cloud doesn't lowball you. You're really only relying on 3 units to roll. So it's nice in the fact that you don't have to re-roll for an entire team and hope that everybody rolls high. It's really just the 3 units. It's just Lightning, Cloud, and Nora doing the damage here. So as long as those 3 roll average or higher with this team setup and the gear, you should be just fine. All right. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. I know there are lots of clears out there that don't have Lightning, because I know there are probably quite a few people that didn't pull for Lightning. I'm seeing fewer clears out there, if any, that actually have the new Lightning on them. So hopefully this will serve to help you guys out there that did pull for Lightning and want to use her in this current Vision world. I figured, I'm spending the 70,000 lapis for her. Better put her to work and earn me at least 10,000 back. That 10,000 extra we paid on the pity. Yeah, I at least now know I'm getting that back. So she earned her stay on my team. So thank you guys so much for following me. I'll do some. I might do some clears of the. Of maybe some of the earlier stages, if that's something that you guys think you would be helpful. If you guys are struggling with any of the earlier stages, definitely let me know in the comments below, and I can work on doing some clears of some of those. I feel like the earlier stages were all pretty simple. I didn't really have any issues with the earlier stages, just using my typical Dark Visions clear teams. But if there are any that are giving you guys trouble, just let me know and I will be happy to help. So thank you guys so much for following me, and I will see you on the other side.